Jai Sripati Shri Guru Gaura Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Padi Brajakacharya. Astatar Siddha Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Padi Brajakacharya. Astatar Siddha Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai, welcome to Sri Caitanya Charitamrta morning class, Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sarvedam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahakana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haribo. Jai Shri Caitanya Charitamrta Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so now we've come to this part in Sri Caitanya Charitamrta where Srila Ramananda Rai is asking the questions, and one of them is the impetus of love with these natural I'm trying to find that. Those three questions. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna is basically what it is. So now, Srila Rupa Goswami is describing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna by beginning with the beautiful form of Krishna. So, the beauty of Krishna's eyes surpasses the beauty of white lotus flowers. His yellow garments surpass the brilliance of fresh decorations of kumkum. His ornaments of selected forest flowers subdue the hankering for the best of garments. And his bodily beauty possesses mind-attracting splendor greater than that of the jewels known as Marakata and Marakata money, or emeralds. His bodily beauty possesses mind-attracting splendor greater than that of the jewels known as Marakata money, or emeralds. And we're always trying to, in this mundane world, we're trying to make our beauty so much, right? Krishna's beauty is like emeralds. We're just trying to manage to cover up the fact that this body is just basically full of garbage. So there's no difference between the inside of the body of the Lord and the outside. There's nothing like that. We've got the skin covering all this like horror show level stuff inside. Oh, it's just funny to think of that. And Krishna's beauty is like, his eyes are surpassing the beauty of the white lotus, and it's like, This verse is spoken by Purnamasi. Jangada stata sangidakshina padam kinchit vibhugnatrikam And another point about that is, it is saying, it is his ornaments of selected forest flowers. These are the wild flowers growing in the forest, what his garland is made out of. And that will subdue, if anyone can see that, that will subdue any hankering for beautiful clothing. It is so charming. All this, it is satisfying the heart of all these things that we're tormented by in the mundane world. The form of Krishna will satisfy all of those things. So wondrously beautiful, but not beautiful in terms of what we conceive of as an object. The object of beauty in the material world is not, it's just a projection of the mind. The mind is projecting and seeing objective things that we can exploit. But this is not that kind of beauty, and it is not perceivable by the mind or the senses, well, the unpurified mind anyway. Jangadas tatta shangi dakshina padam kinchit vipugnatrikam shachistambita kandaram shakitira sanchari netranchalam vangsing kutmalite dadanam adare lo languli sangatam ringadbru brahmadang viranga paramanandang purasvi kuru. O most beautiful friend, please accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is standing before you, full of transcendental bliss. The borders of his eyes roam from side to side. And his eyebrows move slowly like bumblebees on his lotus-like face. What is moving like bumblebees?
His eyes.
His eyes are moving like bees. Every time we see some beauty in this world that we're attracted to exploit, remember these verses and make a comparison. Like these eyes that get styes in them and get red and pus coming out of them.
We try to conceive how his eyes move like bumblebees. It's so weird that they move like that.
It will be weird for you to try to imitate that, I can say that.
Yeah, that's right. But I want to imagine that beauty.
Well, it's just giving a beautiful impression, but we can't really imagine it. I see what you're saying, though. But the bumblebee is very, very... Have you ever seen a bumblebee?
It's the same as a bee?
It's a bee, but it's big.
Uh-huh.
It's really big, and they move really slowly. And they're just moving around, like from flower to flower, and they're very polite. And they don't give any trouble. They're just moving around. So Krishna's eyes are moving around slowly like a bumblebee moves. They're very charming bumblebees. Standing,
Very polite. I like the word you said.
Because I say that because when we moved to England, we had a little house and the back door was always open in the summer to the garden, and bumblebees would come in, and they would just look around and go, "Oh, pardon me," and just fly right back outside again. They didn't say pardon me, but that was the kind of feeling I got about them.
I'm pretty sure they said that.
They didn't freak out or anything. They just, "Oh, my apologies," and they just went back out again. So Krishna's eyes are moving slowly like that, like a bumblebee moves. Excuse me, his eyebrows are moving slowly, like the bumblebee moves. I'm sorry, it wasn't his eyes, sorry. Standing with his right foot placed below the knee of his left leg. The middle of his body curved in 3 places. That's called Tribhanga. His neck gracefully tilted to the side. He takes his flute to his pursed lips and moves his fingers upon it here and there. So this is a very, very classic form of Krishna. He moves like this. He has his leg here, and his body is curved like this. His head is this side, and his flute is here. We can't conceive of this form, but we can have some idea in our mind how lovely. This is verse 27 from the 4th act of the Lalita Madhava Nataka, a 10-act play by Srila Rupa Goswami. It is spoken by Lalita Devi to Radharani. Kulavara tanu dharma drava vindani bindan sumukhi nishita dirga pangatanga chatabi yugapadaya mapurva kapuro vishakarma marakata manilaksher goshta kakshang chinoti. Oh, beautiful faced one. I wish you were right behind the camera. Good. Thank you. Oh, beautiful faced one. Who is this creative person standing before us with the sharp chisels? You know what a chisel is? You know when you're trying to take something off and there's a sharp thing and you're going to scrape it off? That's called a chisel. With the sharp chisels of his loving glances, he is splitting the hard stones of many women's devotion to their husbands. And with the luster of his body surpassing the brilliance of countless emeralds, he is simultaneously constructing private meeting places for his pastimes. So he's breaking the hard dedication to the husband in the hearts of those great damsels of Braja, and at the same time, with the emerald-like luster of his divine form, he's creating private meeting places. This verse, Lalita Madhava, is spoken by Radharani to Lalita Devi. Mahendramani Mandali Madhavidambi Deha Jutir Brajendra Kula Chandra Ma Spurati Kopi Navyo Yuva Sakistira Kulangana Nakara Nivi Bandargala Chiddakarana Kautuki Jayati Yasya Vangshi Dvani. These descriptions are for the innocent. For those who have innocent hearts, they can hear these things with great, like a feeling of nectar coming. But they are also purifying for us. These pastimes because of Krishna with the gopis are nothing like what happens in this world. Nothing. They're the direct opposite. This is God. Everything very wonderful and sweet. And the fact that we have the desire to be the center of these kinds of relationships in this world is a symptom of our sinfulness in the past. So we should see it like that, even though maybe there must be some kind of maybe grihastha life or something like that. That's okay. But we should also understand that this is a disease that has come from my own actions. And it is this kind of painfulness in my life. Instead of seeing it as a potential for a wonderful thing, it is not. And by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, in a mood of understanding about this, our hearts may be purified, and we will get very great relief. Nobody's going to go, gee, I really miss all that hankering and all that. Nobody says that. no more than like somebody who's been relieved of a terrible addiction. They're just like, oh, I feel so much better. But until they have a better life, a higher experience, they may fall again into that as a bad habit. So these pastimes of Krishna are purifying those and giving us a higher taste. That is the essence. Mahendramani Mandali Madhavidambi Deha Dutir Prajendra Kula Chandrama Spurati Kopi Navyo Yuva Sakistira Kulangana Nikara Navi Bandar Gala Chiddakarana Kautuki Jayati Yasya Vangshi Dvani. My dear friend, this newly youthful Lord Sri Krishna, the moon in the family of Nanda Maharaj, is so beautiful that he defies the beauty of clusters of valuable jewels. All glories to the vibration of his flute, for it is cunningly breaking the patience of chaste ladies by loosening their belts and tight dresses. My dear friend, this newly youthful Lord Sri Krishna, the moon in the family of Nanda Maharaj, is so beautiful that he defies the beauty of clusters of valuable jewels. All glories to the vibration of his flute, for it is cunningly breaking the patience of chaste ladies by loosening their belts and tight dresses. So these belts and tight dresses in the divine plane, and we can understand from the Nectar of Devotion, that they are all expressions of their devotion. They're not material things. So going beyond religiosity, devotion to Krishna is infinitely higher and purer and sweeter. So we have to understand it in that way, and that is the proper understanding. Bala Rakshno Lakshmi Kavalaiti Navang Kuvalayam. Sorry, I'm distracted. All right, I'm going to pay attention. Bala Rakshno Lakshmi Kavalayati Navyam Kul Palayam Mukola Sapulam Kamalavanam Ulangayati Cha Dasham Kashtam Astapadam Apina Yatyangikaruchir Vichitram Radaya Kimapi Kila Rupang Bilasati. The beauty of Srimati Radharani's eyes forcibly devours the beauty of newly grown blue lotus flowers, and the beauty of her face surpasses that of an entire forest of fully blossomed lotuses. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami is describing the beauty of Radharani. This is all in the plane of consciousness. Nothing of this is matter. Her bodily luster seems to place even gold into a painful situation. Thus, the wonderful, unprecedented beauty of Srimati Radharani is awakening in Vrindavan. This verse is from the Vidagdha Madhava 132, and it is spoken by Purnamasi, grandmother of Madhu Mangal, the mother of Sandipani Muni. So in other words, the most beautiful thing that can be conceived is it becomes pale next to the beauty of Radharani or Krishna. Vidureti diva virupatam satapatram bata savari mukhe itikena sada sriyojwalam itikena sada sriyojwalam tulanam arhati mat priyananam. Although the effulgence of the moon is brilliantly Although the effulgence of the moon is brilliant initially at night, in the daytime it fades away. Right?
What fades away in the nighttime?
No, the moon is brilliant at night, but in the daytime it becomes like a faded thing. Similarly, although the lotus is beautiful in the daytime, at night it closes. But oh my friend, the face of my most dear Radharani is always bright and beautiful, both day and night. Therefore, to what can her face be compared? This verse, Vidagdha Madhava, is spoken by Sri Krishna to Madhu Mangal.
Madhu Mangal, who was that the Brahman friend of Krishna?
Yeah. Pramadharasa taranga smera ganda stalaya smaradanur anubandi bru latalasya bhajaha madakala chala bringi branti bangum dadano hridayamidam madakshit prakshmalakshya kataksha. When Srimati Radharani smiles, waves of joy flow over her cheeks, and her arched eyebrows dance like the bow of Cupid. Her glance is so enchanting that it is like a dancing bumblebee moving unsteadily due to intoxication. That bee has bitten the whirl of my heart. So the whirl means the center. The center of the lotus is called the whirl of the lotus. And that the movement of Srimati Radharani's glance, her glance is so enchanting that it is like a bumblebee moving like he's intoxicated with all that honey. And it is that bee has bitten the whirl of my heart, Krishna is saying. This verse, Vidagdha Madhava, is also spoken by Lord Krishna. Raya kahe tomara kavitva amritera dara tritiya natakera kaha nandi vyavahara. Having heard these verses recited by Rupa Goswami, Srila Ramananda Rai said, your poetic expressions are like continuous showers of nectar. Kindly let me hear the introductory portion of the second drama.
Drama?
These are dramas.
Means like poems?
No, a drama is a play. So it's written of a play. So great devotees would sometimes enact plays about the pastimes of Krishna. So this is a play. So someone will play the part of Purnamasi, someone will play the part of Madhu Mangal, someone will play the part like that.
It was written and spoken, right? That is also considered as a drama?
Pardon? It is a drama. Like if you write a play,
okay.
yeah, then you've written a drama.
Okay.
It means a play.
Thank you.
But these are not any plays that anyone can write, obviously. They're not figments of anyone's imagination or poetic creativity or anything like that. These are manifestations of Vrindavan itself, and the devotees would sometimes play in those, but they are written in a very careful way. And only by a certain type, a very elevated person can ever write a play like that. Rupa kahe kaha tumi suryopama basa munikong chudra jena kadyota prakasha. Srila Rupa Goswami said, in your presence, which is just like brilliant sunshine, I am as insignificant as the light of a glowworm. Have you ever seen a glowworm?
No.
At night, they're little little flies that they're like a light in the back.
They turn off and they turn on.
Maybe, but they call glowworms. They fly around, but they're bright, right? So he's saying, Rupa Goswami is saying to Ramananda Rai, you're like the sunshine, and I'm like a glowworm.
Ramananda Rai to Rupa Goswami.
No, Rupa's saying this to Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai just said to Rupa Goswami, your narrations are like showers of nectar. Now please tell us the introductory shlokas for the second play. And then Rupa Goswami, feeling very shy, is saying, no, he doesn't want to, he's shy to hear that kind of praise. And so he's saying, no, you are like bright sunshine. This is his feeling about Ramananda Rai. And in comparison, I'm like the light of a glowworm.
Were they actually their feelings, or they were just being diplomatic?
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Why would we want to read about diplomatic people?
Was Rupa Goswami an internal associate of Mahaprabhu? Yeah.
Rupa Goswami's position in Vrindavan is inconceivable. There's no such thing as that, flattery and diplomacy in reality. Why would someone be diplomatic? Because they want to get something in a tricky way. There's never those dealings in reality. Nobody's trying to get anything. When we notice some dishonesty and manipulativeness in this world, we can only recognize it because there is such a thing as not that. And in the highest sense, those are the dealings of the great Vaishnavas. So to not know this is a hellish life. Okay, so, all right, so then the second thing that Rupa Goswami says, Tomara age darstya e mukha vyadana. Tomara age darstya e mukha vyadana. Etabali nandi shloka karila vyakyana. It is even impudent for me to open my mouth before you. He's feeling hot. I feel like I'm being impudent, means egotistic, not thinking of the right thing to do. He's saying, it is impudent for me to even open my mouth before you. He's saying to Ramananda Rai. And who is Ramananda Rai?
He is Lalita Devi. No, Vishaka.
Yes, and Rupa Goswami is feeling like this in front of him. Then, having said this, he recited the introductory verse of the Lalita Madhava, the second play. So he's saying this, but he is having to make, to satisfy Sri Ramananda Rai by doing what he's asking him to do. So these are the dealings of real person. That's why it's called satsanga. Asate. Are you hearing me? Why are you sitting like that? You're going to fall asleep. So, satsangam, sat means truth. Truth and eternity are the same thing. So satsanga means association with those who are completely absorbed in divine reality, truth. Asatsanga is the opposite. So we must hear about the dealings between those who are completely their hearts are free from any other thing but devotion. What are their dealings like? If we don't know this, our life has become completely useless. And I challenge anyone to prove that wrong. There is no use of the life where we don't hear about the great souls and their dealings. It is useless. It has been a waste of time, more than a waste. How will we know how to progress in our life without their example? Impossible. Jai Sri Caitanya Charitamrta ki Jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki Jai, Sri Ramananda Rai ki Jai, Jai all the Parshad of Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Now Sri Upadesamrta. So you got your handout?
Yeah. Ganga Lila is asking, is Ekadashi today or tomorrow?
It's today, right? No. What is our calendar say? Leela, can you look?
There's no calendar over here.
Wait, I think today is Ekadashi.
It is Ekadashi.
Today is Ekadashi in Salt Lake City, but on the website there are dates for the different Ekadasis in the different parts of the world. Sometimes our Ekadasi is different even from SoCal, even though there's only an hour of difference. So if you look on the website, on the side it has the calendars, and then there's a section for the Ekadasi dates worldwide, and then you can find out, Didi, if that is if it is Ekadasi where you are. But it is Ekadasi here in Salt Lake City. Okay, let's go ahead and start Upadesamrta. Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Sad Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Sri Upadesamrta ki Jai. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam, jiva vegam mudara pasta vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta dira, sarvam apimam pritivim sashishyat. The urge of speech, the urges of the mind and anger, the urge of the tongue, the urges of the belly and genitals. The sober person who can control all of these urges can instruct the entire world. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha loyam cha sadbhir bhakti binashati. Overaccumulation, over endeavor, unnecessary talk, misapplication of the rules, association with non-devotees, and fickle-mindedness. Devotion is destroyed by these 6 faults. And there are other ways to read these translations, which I'll also add them. Misapplication of rules, too much attachment, too much disregard of the rules and regulations of vidhi in devotion. And loyam means extreme hankering for mundane things. But it also amounts to fickle-mindedness, because then we're, oh, I want that, no, I want that, no, I want devotion, no, I want these things, no, I want that, and all over the place. Utsahan nishayadharya tat karma pravartanat sangyatyaga sato vritte sabir bhakti prasijjati. Enthusiasm, conviction, perseverance, engaging in favorable activities, right? And?
Engaging in favorable activities, rejecting the association of non-devotees,
And?
following the conduct of great souls.
Very good. Devotion is nourished by these 6 qualities. Prasidati. Okay. Dadati pratigrahnati guhyam makyati prichati, bhungte bojayate chaiva, sadvidam priti lakshanam. Very good. Giving and accepting gifts, discussing and inquiring about confidential matters, giving and partaking of foods. These are the 6 characteristics of love. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta, dikshasti ched pranati bisha bhajantamisham, shushushaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya, nindari shunya hridam ipsita sangalabdya. Honor within the mind those who chant Krishna's name. And of course we have been hearing that's not just anyone chanting any kind of something that sounds like Krishna. That name must be chanted by an innocent person, a sincere person who's not using the name for some mundane objective. That name is, you don't want to hear that. Honor with obeisance those who are initiated and serve the Lord, right? And honor with service those who are expert in devotion, who are exclusively devoted, and whose hearts are free from the duality of criticizing and praising others, and who are the most desirable association. So we'll continue reading this commentary by Srila Guru Maharaj on this verse number 5. And this is on page 114 of this book. At the bottom, Ishvare taradineshu balisheshu dvati shatsucha pemamarti kripo pekshaya karoti samajjama. Here, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the conduct of those in the Madhyam Adhikari. You know what? After this, I went home and turned on just a class, any class, and it was this one.
Yeah, it was random, the video that you picked.
Yeah. It wasn't a video, it's a audio. And Guru Maharaj was talking about these things. Question came, about this, anyway, all these things are described in this class, which I can send you a link for that if you want me to.
Yes. Well, I still have a hard time understanding the
Yes, yeah, it's easier. I mean, Chinmoy Prabhu has done very good service with all these transliterations of the videos. Very, not transliteration, transcriptions and subtitles in these videos. It's making all of these videos so much more accessible to everyone who's not used to the accents of Mahaprabhu, of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. It's very valuable. And I really strongly urge everyone to, whenever you are doing something, you can also be playing these beautiful talks by Guru Maharaj. They're so valuable. And even if you can't pay full attention, you have that sound with you. That doesn't mean we're talking over that. I don't mean that. But when you're by yourself doing some seva or doing some work, maybe cleaning something, but it is very wonderful to hear these classes. And of course now you can understand what the words are, and he's done an absolutely amazing job. But that is the Srila Sridhar Maharaj series and the Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj series on YouTube. Here, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the conduct of those in the Madhyamadikar, the second class, the higher middle class of devotees. Ishvara Prema, they have love and affection for the Lord. Tad Adineshu Maitri, they have friendship with the devotees of the Lord. Balisheshu Kripa, they're eager to help the ordinary mass, and they show kindness to them by talking about the Lord. Dvishatsu Upeksha, they are indifferent to those who are unfriendly to devotion and to the Lord, to those who are inimical towards spiritual things. They're indifferent to them. Let them be. We don't care about them. Sarvabhuteshu yapashyed bhagavad bhavam atmanaha bhutani bhagavatyatmanyesha bhagavatotama. Here, the highest stage of Vaishnavism is described. The highest stage, meaning Uttama. The Uttam Adhikari sees everywhere the connection of the absolute Krishna. He doesn't see any non-Krishna. In the Madhyama stage, there is a discernment. This is Krishna, this is non-Krishna. And that is an important stage in development. Otherwise, we're going to become sahajyas or mayavadis. But in a higher vision, it's not a mental adjustment, but in a higher vision of things, the Uttamadhikari doesn't see anything non-Krishna. He sees everything as the manifestation of the Lord. Their vision is that everyone is connected with Krishna, and only they are unfit to render service to Krishna. Whatever anything is coming to his consciousness, he's seeing the dealings of Krishna there. He doesn't see any non-Krishna, but he's feeling unable to serve properly. That is the case of the Uttamadhikari, the highest type of devotee. There is no question of a general preaching tendency in an Uttamadhikari. He's thinking he is the lowest person. He's not in a preaching mood. But an Uttamadhikari can go to the Madhyama stage, a Madhyama connection, in order to preach. That is only confined to Madhyamadhikari, who is established in God consciousness, but also sees a non-God area. They are eager to convert the non-God area into a God area, and that is something. This is the tendency within the Madhyamadhikari, and that is natural. But, so they should hold the position of an acharya, and we shall try to keep their company. There is also gradation and subgradation within the Madhyamadhikar, and we are to consider it amongst ourselves. So Guru Maharaj is recommending, try to understand all these things and all the nuances and systematic understanding of all these things. There are, of course, also gradations among Uttamadhikaris. There are gradations because it is a positive world. Only to get complete liberation from Maya does not mean that one has got the highest position. Not at all. Liberation from Maya is generally a non-differentiated position. The varieties of the illusory plane, when those are gone, then they have nothing, generally. Gone back to where we started from, in the non-differentiated plane. So that's not considered much of an accomplishment. A progressive thing is there above that. There are so many rasas, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsaya, Madhurya. These are all, you could say, Uttamadhikari, but there's so much gradation after that. In each rasa, there are also groups, according to quality, and in each group also, there is a leader and a succession of servants. There's so much gradation. Very nice. Beautiful. Okay. Any questions or comments about this so far?
No, Didi.
About verse 5? Where did you go, Hari, Dave? Come in here. Okay, so now we are reading about verse number 6. Drishtai svabhava janiter vapushascha dosher na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pasyed gangam vasam na kalu buddha pena pankar brahmatravatvam apagachati niradharmai. Do not consider devotees in this world to be mundane as a result of observing faults produced by their nature or body. The water on the Ganges never loses its nature as liquid nectar or liquid spirit because of bubbles, foam, and mud, all of which are natural in water. So, when even the Uttama Adhikari, Vaishnava, comes to this plane to act in the Madhyama realm of preaching, but it still is natural for the body to have flaws. There's nothing to do with the inner person. There may be so many different kinds of flaws on the body, or even in the, you could say, in the outward nature. They're not actually flaws, but we may perceive them as such. But that will be an offense. Just as if we see the Ganges and we see some thing floating there and we think, oh, the Ganges is dirty. That is a great mistake. And it will be an offense. The divine nature of the Ganga water, it cannot be touched by anything mundane. So in the same way, we must regard the Vaishnava. And even the practitioner devotees, like ourselves, there will be so many flaws, maybe, in another. But we want to discuss these things very carefully. And if we're having some difficulty, to speak with someone and see how we can harmonize so many things. Okay, so now we are going to read the commentary by Srila Guru Maharaj. And that is on page 123. We can just begin. Any comments or questions? Illumination by Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Here, according to the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says that we should not be very eager to find any defect in a pure devotee. The purifying capacity of the Ganges water cannot be identified with the water that we see externally to be the Ganges. So with our eyes, we're seeing one thing, and that is being processed by the mind, which is pretty much geared to misunderstand everything. But the inner quality, the inner truth, the inner substance, that must be found. That water may be filthy, foamy, or muddy, but it still has the capacity to purify us. Why? What is it that can purify? What is that quality? Is it water? We can get water out of any tap, but we are traveling thousands of miles to take our bath in the Ganges. So that's not the kind of purifying that's being spoken of here. No, there is another aspect, and if that is analyzed, ultimately we will see the order of the Lord. It is His order that the Ganges will purify us. And by His will, that is going on. So the purifying power comes from His will. His will is backing that. We should try to find the absolute backing everywhere. There is no, anything that is conceived of outside of Krishna's will is called illusion. That our way of seeing that is wrong. It's misunderstanding. And we are living in that plane of death. And that goes for all kinds of circumstances in our lives. Not that we're just going to go into a big hole of lamentation and depression. That is the opposite of truth. And sometimes we need a little help to see how our circumstances are coming to us and for what reason. And that will be positive and progressive, to discuss that as far as possible by us. Haribol. Jai Shri Shri Upadesamrta ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Jai Sa Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. So it's okay to play Kartal?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I picked this one.
Even though it is soft. That's a thing that everyone who's learning how to play the mridanga, especially the men, they're stronger, is to play it according to how many people are in the group and the size of the room. Playing outside on, downtown Salt Lake City and playing inside a temple room with 3 or 4 people.
With only Sri Lekha.
Different volume.
Okay.
Hari Haraye Namah Krishnaya Davaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopindara Shrimati Sudana. Giridhari Gopina Madhamokana. Shri Caitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chatra. Yadadhara Shri Vasari Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Gauri Radha.
Jai.
Jai Shri Giraj Govardhan Ki
Jai.
Paramahansa Parivrajaka Astatar Sita Shri Srimati Sri Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Astatar Sita Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Swaparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Swaparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Ki Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tade Shakama Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai.
Jai.
Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Morning program Ki Jai.
Jai.
Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Nittai Gaur Premanandi
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Srimati Sri Lekha D.D.
Dandavat Jai Gurudev Ki Jai. Hari Bol.
Vimal Krishna Prabhu is present with us. Who else?
Hari Bimala Prabhu.
Ananya Sundari.
Oh, Dandavat.
Gangalila Didi.
Dandavat.
Kumkum.
Oh, Kum Kum Didi.
Yeah, and I don't know who else is here. But yeah, thank you. Dandavat Pranam, they say.
Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev.